Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel. Thanks for logging on. If you enjoy these videos, do me a favor and subscribe to our YouTube channel right here at Watchbox Reviews. I would really appreciate it, and I promise to update daily. If you love this watch, you can see it and you can purchase it on our website, thewatchbox.com. So today on Watchbox Reviews, we are discussing a lovely 90s inflected stainless steel Gerald Genta Retro Solo, a lovely retrograde minute jump hour in a case that sort of blends the rectangular form with the tonneau form. It's a hybrid of the two with a redolent of the 90s. It's not quite a beads of rice bracelet, it's almost like a rice and beans bracelet, as there are two different size rounded link in this wonderful dress-oriented and extravagant steel bracelet. On my 16 cm circumference wrist, you can see that the watch is traditionally sized. It's a nice 32 millimeters wide from 9 to 3, not including the crown, so it has a nice wrist presence, but from end to end, it's a wonderfully compact 45 millimeters, and that's including the small outcroppings of the lug. It's not a thick watch, only 10.3 millimeters thick with a sloped bezel. It will slide easily under a dress cuff. It's somewhere between a sports watch and a dress watch design, and of course it's redolent of the weirdness of late 1990s Gerald Genta. You can even see overtones and shades of the legendary Gerald Genta Grand Sonnerie in the design of the bracelet. So again, my wrist 16 centimeters in circumference, and I want to emphasize that the back of the case is cambered, it's arced, it does trace the curve of your wrist, so the fit is excellent. I can recommend this watch for a wrist as small as 13.5 centimeters in circumference. Popping it off real quick, you can see it is a double folding clasp. It is a Gerald Genta bracelet, and the quality of the bracelet is very high. It's incredibly comfortable. It has more structural integrity than, for example, a Rolex Jubilee. As you can see, all of the links here are solid, and back in the early 2000s, the Rolex Jubilee was not like that. All of high polish. On the underside, actually plenty of gaps to vent the wrist, so you can wear this on a hot day, and big gaps to avoid pinching skin or pulling hair. You can see that the individual removable links are sized by screws, and the clasp itself is both Gerald Genta branded and nicely curved internally. It's a double to point. You can see how it has a little bit of an arc to it to trace the underside of your wrist true. The junction with the case is well integrated, and you can see there's a little bit of a rounded lug profile to the case that matches the curvature of the end link. And you also note that the end link has a little bit of a vaulted shape that traces the arc from side to side on the case. You can see the characteristic outcroppings of the rivet style Gerald Genta crown from the 80s and 1990s, and I must say that I have a pretty good sense of when this watch was made and sold, as the papers for the timepiece were dated 2004, but the manual for the watch was copyright 2000, so I'm going to call this a millennial reference. It feels like a 90s Gerald Genta, the period between Gerald Genta's own departure in the mid-1990s and Bulgary's acquisition of Genta and Daniel Roth of Le Sentier right around 2000. A lovely piece too. You can see that every single surface of this watch has some sort of a curvature. There's a little bit of a hollow to the case side, which I adore. It's an inward inflection that nicely contrasts with the convex shape of the bezel itself, and you can see that there's also a curvature and a camber to the crystal, which is a lovely piece. The bezel is a matte black. It has a retrograde minute scale. It has a nice metal bezel internally surrounding the jump hour. This one is absolutely a cinch to read. I know some of you are going to fault me for jumping the thing, but I want instant gratification. I want to show you how the jump hour operates. It is Gerald Genta of Le Sentier, Switzerland's own jump hour retrograde module, so there's a lot of manufacturer watchmaking inside this watch. Genta was always big into retrogrades, and if there's one legacy of the man himself in this watch's design, it is the use of the retrogrades and the jump hour, of which he was uniquely enamored. On the case back, you can see it is a lovely satin finish. It is cambered and curved. The watch, 30 meters water resistant, is very much a sporty watch, but is not a sports watch. It's a retro solo, as the engraving attests, with a satin finish. You can see there's a nice curvature to that caseback, and underneath the caseback is an ETA 2892A2 automatic winding bidirectional 4 Hz beat rate. It features a 42-hour power reserve and 21 joules, not counting the Gerald Genta module. Of course, Gerald Genta and Daniel Roth, a combined manufacturer in Le Sentier, Switzerland, not far from Jaeger-LeCoultre, not far from Blancpain, not far from Audemars Piguet and Breguet. All of the Swiss Watch Valley French-speaking watch brands were relatively near in proximity, and this watch was very much in that tradition, but with an aesthetic tradition derived from the whimsy of the man whose name is born on the dial. A lovely piece and a throwback to old school Gerald Genta before it was essentially merged into Bulgari in the year 2010. This is a wonderful, easy to wear watch that's a ton of fun, and again with a real high horology module and the Genta provenance to match, it's a cool piece of history objectively. A fun and animated complication. This is one of those crowd pleasers that you can show to your non-watch loving friends and they instantly understand why you're into mechanical horology. See it and make it yours on the Watchbox.